welcome to another Thursday night safety briefing with your guy, me, They Gone. You can always find me at They Gone at 238 on the Twitters, or you can always find me here on They Gone at 6962 on the YouTubes. If you're here on the YouTubes, you already know that. As always, if you're in the chat, make sure you hit those like buttons and share my contact as always. Thanks for Destro Designs for showing up in the chat. I appreciate it. As always, it is a long 4th of July weekend, so everybody get pumped. As you should know, as in the Army, I was a military sergeant in the military. We did a what they call a safety briefing for every long weekend, and this happens to be a Thursday long weekend of 4th of July. So you troopers, you better listen up. So here's your safety briefing. So if you're going out there swimming, make sure you're swimming with a buddy, because you get a cramp, he can save you. If it's all raining and lightning and thunder outside, make sure you're not standing on that tree, because if you stand on that tree, you might get hit by lightning. Same thing with tornadoes. Try to get as low a point as you can. If you're going out deciding to go drinking, smoking, doing whatever you kids do these days, make sure you're not driving. I know you they're sitting there, Destro Designs. I know you know how to call Uber, so make sure you call it Uber. If you can't call Uber, make sure you're calling a battle buddy. If you can't reach a battle buddy, make sure you're calling your fire team leader. If you can't reach your fire team leader, you keep on going up into your platoon sergeant. If the platoon sergeant ain't answering the phone, well, something you're going to have to call the CQ desk. And when you call that CQ desk, they're going to give you a hard time about it, but at least it's better than cuffs. So you make sure if you see something out there, say something. You're a light to people out there, and you know what to do good. You're good people. So if you're not being a light out there, what are you being? You're being darkness. So let's get on with the show. That's about a minute there or so. So as I said, this is the 4th of July extravaganza. So I've been trying to hit in a lot of my tweets out there, see if you guys been paying attention or not. So I'll give you guys a minute to kind of go back through some of the tweets I've been doing and see if you can kind of guess what I got from my good friend Gary of Chaplain's Assistance Motor Pool. He's a great guy. Him and Gary and Casey do a weekly show. Actually, Gary's we should be recording a new episode tonight. So if he shows up, he's pretty busy. But anyway, he's the one who got me this fabulous gift. So if you're in the chat or if you're watching the replay of what you're doing, go ahead and try to guess what kind of the theme of obviously the theme of today's show is 4th of July. But what's more American than this? So in the chat, if you have an answer, I'll go ahead and give me one. I'm going to go get a quick drink of water while you guys are thinking about it. All right? So hold on. If I had theme music, I'd be playing the Jeopardy theme music right now. So if I go ahead and Destro Design, go ahead and play that in your head for yourself. All right? All right. That's enough of that wasted airtime. If you are watching the replay, I don't mind if you're rewinding and going through or playing it twice. Go ahead and just leave me some comments below. As I always tell you guys, I'm trying to build a community here, so let me know what you guys want to share and build and stuff like that. Kind of a great story to kind of piggyback off that, where you guys are still thinking of still thinking of what the surprise is, or what the theme of the show is. Once again, it's the most American thing I can think of. Yeah, he had his bad times and turned on us, but he came around at the end. So just let me know if you know who that is in the chat. You probably should know by now. I'm leaving tons of hints. But I like to say that Collins from Collins Art Collections, he's a great guy. He's from Northern Ireland. I've been talking to him for years. It was funny. I haven't actually reached out into DMs to him in a while, for almost 3 years, and he out of the blue decided to ask me because he does these little art characters of pop culture art characters of any kind of franchise you want to, and even non-franchises too. And I'll get to a minute when make sure I share his link in the chat. Hey, Destro Designs, if you know that link, you can go ahead and excuse me. You can go ahead and link that in the chat for me as well. Yeah, Destro Design was a really killer person. He actually saw all of Colin's work and actually commissioned some of it. It was really awesome. Anyway, but Colin does all these awesome works. I've been following him for years, it seems like. And so, but one day he just kind of popped up and said, hey, on the Twitter, hey, They Gone, do you have I'm kind of bored. Let's do a request of kind of anything you got. And so I got actually the figure I picked Which if I was, once again, if I was more prepared for these things, a co-host would probably make me more prepared for these things, but that's okay. I have a custom figure that I use a lot in my pictures. If you notice, he's the one that's on the ATV. I have a really great friend called Ben Viper who made that for me. He customized it for me, so I had Colin take that figure and use it as one of his little people. He does little drawings. They're really cute, really awesome. One of the ones that touched my heart the most is they over in England and Europe, they have Remembrance Day, which is at the end of World War One, which is our Veterans Day, but they call it Remembrance Day, and they have the poem "The Poppies." And if you see Canadians or English people like from England, British people and English people, all those folks, they'll wear a poppy. In response to Remembrance at the end of World War One. There's a lot of history to it. I was a history major in college, so I know lots of stuff. Oh, it's all right for being late for the party, buddy. There is no late. As always, there's a replay, so you can go ahead and go back to the beginning of it and go. You'll get the replay. Once again, I am dropping hints within the show. Oh, there's the figure I'm talking about. Hey, I'll show it in here in a second. But no, I've been dropping hints in the show about all of what I got a surprise from my great friend Gary from Chaplain's Assistance podcast. Him and Casey got to go to Joe Fest, which they have an awesome time. If you guys haven't checked out Gary's podcast, check that out. Like I keep on dropping his name, but they actually did a little live session while they were at Joe Fest, and it was awesome. And if you guys did go to Joe Fest and has live stuff, go ahead and just hook me into it. I'll check it out and stuff. I always enjoy that stuff. So anyway, I'll keep going. What was this? Oh, the story. Yeah. So once again, Colin, who's a great artist, he does little figures and all of the pop culture sort of things. And like I said, I've talked about Remembrance Day. If you want history about Remembrance Day, go back about 5 minutes or so. Anyway, so here's the figure that I had Ben Viper made me. He's a great friend of mine. I've been talking to him for years. We ended up meeting because we were both Hooded Cobra Commander 788 fans. Blessed be his name. Anyway, sorry, I'm just joking. But when he was around and he was doing a lot of contacting, we would just talk through the chat and stuff. That's the thing great about our community. You can build your own by just talking to people. I love talking to people, and if they're cool people, I love doing it. But anyway, so Ben and me got talking about, and we talked about stuff, and so I kicked it down some coin in the figure and stuff, because this is actually a 2000s Dusty. Do I have the other figure available? Oh, I don't. Well, like I said, if I was more prepared for these things, if I see it on my show, there it is. Wow, this is a lucky stream. It is my lucky day. So this is the 2000s Dusty, right? So as you can tell, he has the red beret, of course, and then the blue shirt, the white T-shirt, and then the greens and all that kind of stuff. This is actually Dusty, believe it or not. 2000s worth. You can tell it's a newer one because the plastic is a little off. I need to focus that a little bit. The plastic is a little off, so it doesn't feel as original as the older ones do. Oh, you're just taking on the podcast and stuff and stuff online. That's awesome, dude. Thanks for, like I said, stopping by and all that. All that awesome. But anyway, this is the one that Ben Viper did for me. As you can see, he did some color swapping and things like that. He did this specifically because when I was in Afghanistan, I know it's story time. Old Sergeant Stein from Sergeant Curtis, who was in Afghanistan, or you'll have to hear these again. Anyway, when I was in Afghanistan, we still have the desert ones, like from Gulf War and all that kind of stuff. But however, we had all of our equipment was green. All our LBV stuff, which is the straps that go around and hold your canteens and stuff, all our backpacks, all of our stuff was green stuff because they just didn't make it yet. Because this was early in 2004 when I deployed, so they didn't hype up the war quite yet. Excuse me, as I readjust myself. Anyway, so Ben Viper made this figure for me. As you can tell, it's getting older though. With custom figures, you can't play with them too much because the paint rubs and stuff, which I hate. I've had this figure for years now because this was like 3 or 4 years ago. I had him do this figure right. Before it used to have a yellow flash right there on his beret, which would be like the yellow flash I had on my beret. So like I said, if I had a figure that represented me, it would be the 2000s Dusty, but with my alternate uniform. And if you notice in some of my pictures and stuff and poems, I call him Spoon. Because when I was deployed to Afghanistan and in the unit, there was this old combat engineer just kept on calling me Spoon all the time, and that's what you call a cook, as a spoon. And so I just I don't know. You have to, when people give you nicknames and stuff, you almost have to embrace it because they wouldn't give you a nickname or they wouldn't, do that kind of stuff if they didn't like you. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I could. They also called my unit, the guys in my unit, because I was over in Afghanistan, but I was attached to 7th Group. But I was a first group cook because 7th Group we brought over there to help us out, but they didn't have any cooks with them. They just had the combat engineers to build bases. Anyway, I digress. So that's that. Anyway, well, the cooks used to call me Little Burro because I was always a stubborn guy, but I always did things right. So they're like, call, oh, Little Burro and his hooves, and they go like this to me, Little Burro and his hooves, because I was always stubborn and pissed off all the time, especially when I got back from Afghanistan. So anyway, like I said, once again, Ben Viper, he's a great guy. He does a lot of custom figures. I think he likes to do a lot of Marvel. I know his favorite figure is Storm. So there you go. That's a shout out Ben Viper. Oh, and shout out to Colin for if you look at. I'll tweet out his stuff later. When I retweet out mine, I'll tweet out the links and stuff. I'm lazy tonight. It's the 4th of July. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff to get into. So that's that figure once again. I use him a lot. Spoon. Anyhow, so that's that. Some other things. These are kind of older things that I have. Once again, we're going 4th of July. Yay America, because I'm glad to be American. I'm sorry. You go to other countries. I don't want to get on my soapbox too much, and I don't want to get in politics too much, but being an American and knowing that my government can arrest me for the things I say, you could, especially if you can't prove it's false or not, or it's an opinion, that's a powerful thing. And if anybody wants it, I would die for that right. And there's like I said, I deployed for knowing that in America at the time we wanted to show people what freedom was, and that's what we tried. Like especially in Afghanistan, we tried for 20 gosh darn years, and it just didn't stick. And there's nothing we could do about it. And right or wrong, if you agree with that kind of politics or not, but it was a trial failure thing. It's at this point in my life, I'm ready to move on. So, like I said, in a way, I'm ready to be independent of those times in my life 20 years ago. So anyway, so like I said, we're gonna keep on going here. Like I said, one of my all-time Marvel favorite characters is going to be Captain America. I love Captain America. If I had to choose, like I said, as you can see, I will move my camera down a little bit. I am wearing a Captain American shirt. I love Captain America, and so I've had this Captain America figure for a long time. I don't remember how much I got it for, and I don't remember if I paid full price for it because I've had it so long. But of course, he still has his shield, his Captain America shield. And then there's the Captain America. I think this is the one where he finally gets his cool suit when he's in World War II still. This is the still kind of World War II kind of design suit. Like I said, I'm not a big Legends fans of things, or I don't really get that nerdy into things. I know enough about him that I like him. And to be honest with you, I don't care. I like Captain America. They try to turn him. I know there was some fluff on the internet for a while where they try to turn him evil. They try to have him join who's the evil, the octopus people. Anyway, the octopus. You guys know who it is. Anyway, so he had him try to join that. Then he's like, "Oh, America's bad. I believe in the idea." It's like, I'm sorry, but Captain America's America. If America isn't itself, if it doesn't have those ideas, we don't have the idea of freedom and stuff. Yes, once again, I know I'm on a soapbox for these things, but it is 4th of July. So that's like I said, you've seen a lot of pictures with him in it. I did a really great one with him and the movie Baroness. You know what? It's kind of funny. It's really funny to me, like the movie. I didn't really watch the movie. I don't care about it. There's some fluff about that too. I've talked about that before. But I actually love this figure. I love this version of Baroness. I know it's especially because she's dusty. I haven't used my figures in a long time, especially this her, but she has a great face. Her face is so much better than the one that came on the cycle, because this one is based on the actress that was in the movie. You know, the famous gif where she goes, "Oh, snake eyes," and she drops her glasses. That's what this one is. That is what this Baroness was based off of. And so I think that's, I still like this version of Baroness a lot. Obviously, the new one that's coming out with the Rattler. So if you check out Vern's channel, Oak Studios. He just dropped a review just right before my live stream, so make sure you check his out. He just a review. Everybody's showing pictures and everything of it. It's great. Like I said, so things like that. Like I know I'm not a big HasLab guy because as you guys know, I'm a finder. I enjoy finding. I love chasing the deal. I love tracking down stuff. Oh, and let's find me kind of thing. Pre-orders I've never done. The pre-orders I have ever done, I end up canceling them because they were through GameStop. No, nothing against GameStop. I just was like, this is dumb. So yeah. I'm reading the chat real quick. So if you are on the live sheet, understand it is a paragraph because Big Red Hunter 82 is got me excuse me, has chatted me. Oh, Hydra, thank you. It's Hydra. Well, that's close to an octopus. Thank you for Hydra. Yeah, once you say the name, I can picture everything now. And then yeah, thank you. And then of course they had the Red Skull guy was the evil guy, and he's all German and da 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 da. Yeah. Yeah. So when Marvel had it, I remember a few Marvel cameos would be cool if they had Hydra as an ally of Cobra. Yeah, that'd be cool. And Captain America makes a cameo working. Oh, with a Joe. Oh, that'd be awesome. If they can get Channing Tatum. Was it Channing Tatum in the first one? You know what? I don't care. I actually, I'm going to say it, and you guys can crucify me if you want to. I enjoyed the first two movies. They were, if you understood that they were popcorn eating movies that you didn't care about and they were sassy, they're all right. Sure, they obviously changed characters and who they were, which is fine. I never was bothered. It's okay because to me, excuse me, I'll slow down a little bit. To me, that version of Joe was its own. Just like how I think maybe you can help me out with Destro, or you can help me out with this Big Red. The Renegades is different, obviously, of course, and there's other versions of G.I. Joe that's out there that have their different versions. And I know there's like a bazillion comics that have spin-offs and they've done different things with that. So yeah, Destro tries to enjoy the movies. Like I said, sometimes I think this is with most things. I don't want to say this with I'm not a hypocrite because there's some things I don't like, obviously. But like I said, obviously I don't want to be a hypocrite, but I am because we're all human, we're all sinners, all that kind of stuff. But we criticize things sometimes with a wrong lens. Does that make sense? I know, like when I was in college, we learned how to. We're going to look at this as a Marxist lens, or we're going to look at this through a classical lens, or we're going to look at this through this lens or this lens. Blah blah blah. There's many of them, even feminist lens, anything you wanted to. But I think sometimes when we look at movies and stuff, we forget pop culture is pop culture for a reason. There's a reason for it. It's supposed to be like mindless. I'm going to enjoy this because I know the hero's going to win. It's going to suck for the hero sometimes, and the hero's going to win. And then every once in a while, oh, cool, the bad guy is actually the hero, and the hero's wrong. Those twists are okay right now. I think those are fine. I'm used to those, but it's just I don't want to. It's like I want to go to a movie and turn my brain off. I don't want to have to think about if people are treated right or whatever. I want the old school cowboy. Black hat bad guys, white hat good guys, and we move forward. It's just me. Maybe that's just me. I'm an old man. I'm reading the chat again from Big Red. Thank you. If it helps, you're the kind of fan who watches a movie without picking it apart, compare it to the source. Well, yeah, obviously I'm not. To be honest, I had a rant. I think last week. My wife, when we were watching the Dan Brown. Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons. Obviously, she read those books, and the whole time she just kept on picking them apart. And I'm like, I understand, sweetheart. I know I didn't read the book, and at this point, halfway through the movie, I don't care at this point. I don't want to say those kind of things, but I love her. It was so cute. And the same thing with I think some folks do that with Harry Potter and just most of those kind of series. Yeah, I just don't really do that. I mean, sometimes I do. I mean, I understand why people do. I understand what people do, and that's fine. And you have every right to. I'm not going to say you can't, but it doesn't mean I have to agree with you or I have to say what that movie totally is. Does that sort of make sense? It's okay. It's okay to. I know this is the famous phrase. It's okay to like things, and it's okay not to like things. Blah 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 blah. It is, but I think it's okay to remember you have to be civil with people. part of freedom and responsibility, like I say, I'm going to be on my soapbox for independence, is understanding you have to be responsible enough to respect people enough to understand they can have a different opinion than you do. And if you don't like their opinion, you can say, hey, I can be civil and say, hey, I disagree with you. You can have those little funny jabs and stuff like that as long as it doesn't get too personal. But let's just be civil. There's no point. I mean, I know. It's like, oh, he's going to the middle ground. He's a centrist, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about civility. Talk like people like they're your neighbors. Talk to people like you're standing in front of them, because you wouldn't curse someone out for no reason just because it was all if you were standing in front of them. No, like if I was a person, like when I remember even in Afghanistan, like I try to understand, like we have Afghanis help us do things, and some people call them Hajis. I never really got into that habit of calling them Haji. I always just called them Afghanis. They were just because that's what they were. They were different tribes in Afghanistan, and some of them were Pashto or Dari, or that was the two languages they had, and all that kind of stuff. And Afghanistan is a crazy mix of people. You have Asians in there from China. You have Russians in there when they invaded. You're saying you have Greeks people in there from all the way from Alexander's time. It's crazy, But I try to look at them as people, but after a while, you can do that, but people will show you who they are, and that culture, needless to say, I just disagree with it. So let's put it that way. Anyway, so we'll carry on. So like once again, the last thing I showed was Captain America and blah 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 blah. And one thing I really got, this is kind of my find of the day. And once again, we're about the 20-minute mark, so I'll get this going a little bit. I like to stay around 35 minutes or so. If you guys didn't know, we do the if you're watching this and you're skipping around, we do the safety brief in the beginning, and then we do some talking and stuff like that, and we go from there. Oh, also, if you haven't remember, Dexter Designs is doing a lot of cool stuff with it. And he's popping some reviews of some of the latest figures he got in. Make sure you check that out. Once again, if I can't remember everything because I'm an old man, as I've got the PTSDs, and so I can't remember stuff. And so if you I'll retweet stuff. Just pay attention. Just become part of the community. Share stuff with folks. Share stuff with me. I'm sure, like I said, Dexter Design doesn't work. Doesn't matter. I'm sure Big Dread doesn't matter. Just be tasteful with it. I said probably for a lot of folks, we want to keep it PG-13. Let's not have so much racy stuff out there. I get it. If that's what you're into, I understand. But that's just not. Let's just not affect other people's stuff, all right? If you're promoting other people's stuff or whatever, just like I said, just be civil, respectful. Like I said, be independently. Know that that to be independent for people to do stuff, you have to respect their stuff. Your right ends when someone other rights begin. So let's put it that way. So one of the things I did get this is like the deal of the day. This is really dusty because this is really old. If you go back to a lot of my older shows, obviously. But it doesn't matter because people have memories of goldfish, even myself. I show this off. I got this at Walmart a long time ago, and this went down, down, down. Let's see if I can read the original price before I show you. So the original price was $40, and this was, like I said, this is I think it was even before COVID. Actually, I got this. I don't remember. I don't know if there's a number on it. Again, I'll show you the back and everything. So its original price was $39.96 at Walmart, right? That was its original price. So the next price, it went down to $19. And then it had one more price drop. Let's say this is almost like Price is Right. If you guys remember watching Price is Right and Barker doing all the things. My favorite game was the mountain climber game. If you guys remember that game, where you would go up the mountain, and you would yodel the whole way. What were your guys' favorite games? Like I said, if you guys were watching the replay or whatever, just listen below in the chat. Like I said, this is so once again, what was the last price? So it went from around $40 to $19. And what was the last price that you think that they gone at $238 on the Twitters and got it for? All right, I'll give you guys a minute. All right, let's see. I gotta give you guys a minute because I'm thirsty. And think of some questions. We're gonna have, like I said, once again at the end, we'll have some questions and answers. 11. Oh, okay. All right. Dexter Design says 11. All right. Remember, you can't go over. So are you sure you want to go 11? Remember, can't go over. Okay, he's going 9. Oh, red goes 9. All right. So you know how much it was? Drum roll, please. No, it wasn't 7. No, it was $9.50. $9.50. It was $9.50 at Walmart, and this was these were those little displays of the Avenger stuff, and this one happened to be. This one happened to be Captain America's shield, and I got it for $9.50. At the time, mind you, there was two of them, and I had been watching it. I had been watching it for so long when it was at 19. I'm like, you son of a gun! I know you're gonna drop. I know you're gonna drop, and it did, and I got it for $9.50. And guess what? And for all you guys in the States and in Europe and Canada and all that, guess what? My state, we don't have sales tax. So when I buy stuff on eBay or you guys or whatever it is, there's no sales tax in my state. So when I pay $9.50, it's $9.50. Anyway, so like I said, that's Captain America. This is the 4th of July extravaganza with your boy They Gone at 2:38 on the Twitters and 960 They Gone at 6962 here on the YouTubes. There, right? Yeah, score on. Anyway, here's the back of it. Like here's this is a little closer shot. I haven't taken it out of the box ever, but that's awesome. I thought I was pumped. And then you can collect all 4. And once again, all the 4, it has Iron Man, of course. It has the Gauntlet of Destruction by Thanos. Even have the mask of the sadly deceased Black Panther. And what's the last one? I'll look at it. It's Thor's hammer. It's Thor's hammer. I always forget about Thor. To be honest with you, you guys, like I said, I'm not a big Marvel fan. Once again, I'm not a big comic book fan. If you guys are big comic book fans and all that kind of stuff, I would hit up G.I. Joe Berg and Ben Retro, and him and Steve are doing a chasing G.I. Joe. They're doing all these comics that get sent to them. Obviously, G.I. Joe Berg, we all know they're the granddaddies of play motion, where they send around. They even did cinema where they have different places in different countries that have the same characters, and they would have them do different scenes and stuff. It's been awesome. You guys really should look them up. I actually, once again, I met them from Hooded Cobra 788, just talking to them and stuff. They're one of the greatest videos I remember them from. They did an argument with not an argument, a friendly kind of a video off with Cobra Commander, where they took Hit and Run as the Mountaineer, and Cobra Commander took Alpine. Thank you for the pun. The Alpine as his. It was pretty funny. And Steve even got in the water and got all camoed up and stuff. It's one of the funniest things I still remember to this day. So those guys are really fun. Like, I know I'm telling old stories and not, but if you're around, especially combat veterans and stuff, that's kind of what we do. We to block out the I want to say bad things, but things that just kind of happen. You kind of I always kind of gravitate to funny things and enjoying other people's stuff. So anyway, as we go on, like I said, this was a fine of the time at that time. Like I said, not fit. And thanks for Big Redhead 82 for guessing the right answer. I really appreciate that. All right. I'm gonna get a drink of water. Oh man, I'm getting close. I'm gonna get to it. 2 more things to share, and then we'll get to the big grand opening from my friend Gary and his co-host. Casey might have a hand in it, but he's a great co-host. Casey of Assistance. Chaplain Assistance Motor Pool, and their missiles, which is a Catholic term, or just a term for a kind of a little lesson, a little blurb about a kind of a vehicle and stuff. Gary's really big into the vehicles and stuff, and trailers too. So make sure you take out their website. And once again, as I talked about before, Colin doing, man, I feel bad for him, because I almost feel like I set him up with people requesting stuff, and he blew up, and that was beautiful to see. Like, I tell you guys, that's what I love about the community. Like, I enjoy, I don't know if it's going to sound crazy, but my good friend Cujo would always say, he's a great guy. You know, Cujo, I've been friends with him. He's also of G.I. Joe Berg fame. Anyway, he does his own stuff. Anyway, he would always boost people's stuff. Just, the signal is only as strong as you are. You know what I'm saying? We have to be able to bind together, and if you want to make something work, you have to put something into it. And by putting something into it, I don't mean give us money. I'm not talking about that. I'm not a money guy. Don't ever send me stuff. People who make me stuff and send me or stuff like that, usually what happens is I don't know. like with Ben, like I gave Ben some money or traded him stuff. I need to get. Oh my god, I'm so bad. I haven't gotten Gary back anything. He's gotten me he sent me extra comics he's had and stuff like that. And he's a great guy. Yeah. Anyway, but like I said, don't send me stuff. I don't want money. I don't want Patreon stuff. That's not what this is about. This is, to me, I keep on asking you guys, just list out the stuff you want to share to me. Send me DMs of the stuff you guys want to share. Boost out stuff. Just let's get this thing rolling. You know what I'm saying? If you got some projects you're working on and you want ears and eyes on it, just let us know, man. Sorry if it's too hard for you. Is it too hard for you to ask? Like I'll steal some Fight Club lines for you. Is it too hard for you to ask, man? Just ask. You know. It's like, do we have to have 2 pitchers of beer with you to interact with us? No, just fucking anyway. All right, I'll keep going. That's like I say, it's Soapbox Independence Day. It's like I said, like be respectful of people. You know, even like that. Just consider other people's feelings and stuff. Like when you're, I'm not putting this. Like, don't put this wrong way, but the guys who do have a lot, sometimes some of the folks who don't, like, I'm okay with it because I'm an older guy. Like, I only get what I want. But some of the guys who don't have a lot, it's hard for them, and I understand that, and I can. You have to understand that mentality too. And so, like, when they actually do get something, really celebrate it for them too, because that's what it's all about. It's all about it's just the joy of what you're getting, what you're finding. So I'm just like I said, Soapbox. I that's what I do. Well, one more last Captain America thing to kind of clear up the 4th of July extravaganza before I start opening it up. So once again, from the great sponsor, not a great unofficial sponsor of the show. Once again, Dagon does not represent nor have any connection with Kokomo Toys. Yeah, Kokomo Toys. This is actually a kind of a Christmas in July kind of thing. I got this. I'm not a pop collector. I don't really collect pops. People who do, I understand it. It's an obsession. Oh, shout out to Geek Strong and his everlasting addiction to popcorn tins and accessories. No, I'm joking. He's a great guy. You guys really should check out his channel. Once he's part of the toy duo with Vern and everybody. So once again, but I did get this. It's a gingerbread pop from Kokomo Toys a long time ago. Once again, this is probably before COVID. And they actually really cool because they actually shipped in a nice case, so it's just not it's just not the box itself. And so I got this. Once again, they do free shipping there. They have their famous dollar auctions. They also have a great a shop, and they have had documentaries made about it. And there you go. There's my unofficial Kokomo Toy endorsement. Anyway, I got this for less than like $5 because, you know, it's a Captain America gingerbread, so there wasn't really a lot of hype for it. So, but I always enjoyed it and I adore it because it's funny. But like I said, once again, I'm not a big pop fan. I think one of these weeks, one of the show ideas I had for myself, I was gonna do like alternate, independent toys that I like that aren't Star Wars and aren't G.I. Joe, because I know sometimes that can get a little bit too much. So maybe we come in the coming weeks, or maybe that'd be a show idea. Once again, if you guys got show ideas, you got something to share, you want to shout out or whatever, just kind of put it below and go there. Once again, Colin did a great job. Destro Design's done a great job this week. If I've missed somebody, I'm sorry. You need to. Sometimes it takes a few times for me to remember things. So there you go. One last thing, I did get something new, which is actually a first for me, believe it or not. As a Star Wars fan as I am, I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm not a Star Wars fanatic. Let me put it that way. Some folks really get into the canon of things, just like, you know, other franchises. They really get into it, and there's really a lot of critical, which I said, and they have every right to do that. And sometimes, you know, be honest, but I'm not going to be a hypocrite. It's funny. It is so funny sometimes. Oh, hey, welcome to the stream. Let me put my readers on. 73. Okay, so I'm gonna hide. Sorry, if you highlight, I have old eyes, but like I said, welcome for this 73 L. Oh, I can't read. Hey, welcome. Thank you, Big Red. I'm sorry. I my eyes, and if you guys didn't know something about me, I'm dyslexic. It's not a crutch. I don't use a crutch. I've overcome it, but it happens to me. When I see names, it's hard for me to read them, especially it's a word I don't see a lot, and like especially with names, because there's variations of names that you don't ever see at all. So it's really hard for me. Anyway, one of the things I did get for Kokomo Toys, I got this for no. Blah, 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 blah. I rewind that. I was out with my daughter on because my daughter's birthday's soon, and she was getting makeup and stuff like that. So I was out shopping with her, and we're at Target. And it was at Target, and I was looking at the stuff. At first, I thought the Scout Trooper they have with that was it like a Star Wars Ultimate line that Disney puts out. I thought they had that there. It was they had it listed under another toy that was 8 something, which made me really. And then I looked at it, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of these. And then when I scanned it, it wasn't 8 something. It was its original price of $19. So I didn't pick it up. But once it goes down, or I find it at Ross, oh beautiful Ross. My Rosses aren't that great, and we don't have an Always. If I had an Always, I would love it. If you guys have an Always out in your hood, you're blessed. Because even if you don't like I said, I always tell people if you don't like the figures, especially those ones that were really some shoe figures or those they were I'm gonna say kung fu movie, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Some Element movie or whatever. I didn't watch it obviously, but those figures you can pick up at Always for like $5. I mean, for Pete's sake. I mean, you can take those apart and use it. You can dress whoever you want and make your custom figures out of that stuff. So if you like I said, if you're in Always, I envy you in that respect. Anyhow, I did, but like a Target, I'll get on with it. I don't have a lot of Stormtroopers, and I don't have any Stormtroopers in the Black series, but I actually picked up this excuse me, a war. I can't talk. You have to understand, I talk for a living. And so I talk all day long. And so by the time I get home to do this stream, I'm almost talked out. But I'll keep going. You gotta bring it. I always tell people too, if you're feeling down and you're feeling bad, there is something to false motivation. I know that's gonna sound silly, but if you just keep telling yourself, okay, I'm gonna get up today. Or I got up today. Okay, I'm gonna get my shoes on today. Or I got my shoes on today. And just you keep positively, and I'm not saying I'm not a guru, I'm a hypocrite sometimes I'm lazy, but if you have that positive mentality throughout the day, just, okay, I'm gonna do this today. Okay, I'm at work, I'm gonna do this many cases today, or I'm gonna make this many phone calls. I'm gonna go ahead and get this project wrapped up. So I mean, I don't know about artists on there. Once again, one of the great artists I adore, he's a great fan of mine, is Mate Mylar. If you obviously everybody who's in the stream or knows me on Twitter knows Mate Mylar. He's from Canada. He's a great guy. He does a lot of great pictures and stuff. We talked about before. He's a great guy. Anyways, just be like I said, be a light out there for folks. I'll just keep dropping names. No, actually, keep it going. I need to get this wrapped up. We're at the 35-minute mark. Oh no! But it is the 4th of July extravaganza, so let's go. Anyway, but I finally got a Rogue One. I picked up the Rogue One Star Wars story Trooper. This is to me is remarkably like the sand one that is on New Hope. So I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same mold. Obviously, you experts are gonna go, oh well, his gun is different and the mold is different and blah 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 blah. That's fine. And I want to say this in all sincerity. I understand. I so understand all you guys who collect everything. I'm not a completist by no means. I never would be. I don't have the space for it, nor do I have a wife who has patience for it. But however, you guys that are, which is great, is cool. But when you got some folks get too much on to like, oh no, this is just a repaint of the same figure we already got. Well, there's some of us out there, they gone at Twitter, they gone at 238. I don't get all the figures. Once again, I've been collecting for a while, but even I pick and choose and get off I hunt and find like the figures find me, and so I enjoy when I see repaints and stuff. Like to this day, I still don't have a Vader. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to say it. I'm a Vader's Star Wars collector. The nearest thing I have to a Vader is an Anakin I picked up, a Power of the Force Anakin. No, I take that back. A couple weeks ago, I picked up the Ahsoka Anakin. We released him from his plastic tomb. So. Yeah, so once again, I'm pausing replay, guys. I'm a slow reader, so I was pausing to read the chat. And Big Red was saying that he's always been an Imperial fan. He likes the look of the old troopers and stuff. To be honest with you, I'm going to say this too. I enjoyed Star Wars growing up as a kid, but I was born in 1980, so that means by the time I was aware of Star Wars and that kind of stuff, it had passed. Because the last Star Wars movie is what, 83, 82? Like I said, I'm not an expert. Won't pretend to be. So by the time I was like 2, I'm not gonna. My brother was. I remember my half brother. He was really big into Star Wars, but at that time, I wasn't. And then even GI Joe, I didn't hop on to GI Joe probably until 86, 87, and it was probably into syndication by that time. And so I was really late for stuff, and I wasn't really ever into I Ninja Turtles. I always like Leonardo on the cartoon, but we didn't enjoy the figures as much because they were different back then. They like my parents would say they were too gross, and so they wouldn't buy those for me. They didn't like gross things. I don't remember He-Man. Once again, I think He-Man was a little bit too early. I remember I had a lot of space Legos, the M Force and the Black Force, and they had a police force at one point, the Space Police. And then I love the castle ones. I love the wood people, which reminds me, I almost got I like Green Arrow because he reminds me of Robin Hood, and I love the Robin Hood figure, even like reading about him and mythically and stuff like that, and those things like that. So I almost got Green Arrow, but it was like a different version of Green Arrow. It was like a younger teenage DC version of him. So it was like a McFarlane figure. I almost picked it up. It was $25, which but it wasn't quite right, so I didn't pick it up. Once again, you have to be able to walk away from things. So be free to be independent to walk away from things. So I'm just kind of reading the chat, so I'm kind of moving my screen. So apologize, I'm making you guys sick on the replay or the live stream. Yeah, I was born in 82, and so I was late to the party as well. Yeah, so Big Red is saying he's the same kind of boat I am. He's 2 years younger than I am. So that makes sense. Yeah, like I said, it's no dismersion to anybody. It's just different. It's kind of funny because I think me and you probably have some '90s stuff that some of the '80s guys don't. Probably the '70s and '80 kids don't. Or like we were probably I wasn't a Power Ranger fan, but I knew of it. So for me, I'm gonna say this. The movies are great, but for me, for me, the animated Batman is the definitive Batman, even with especially with Mark Hamill being the Joker, and then rest his soul, the man who thankfully played Batman. He passed away, so he just passed away like I think last year, unfortunately. So we lost him. That to me, that's the definitive Batman. I think it's the other things too. There's a lot of TV shows that are definitive for me. Not so much The Simpsons. I think South Park was more definitive to me. Found it more in college. Like I said, I love this. I enjoyed Simpsons, but it was great. I think Futurama is better than both of those. Just trying to say, I'm sorry, you don't need guys to need to know about me. But anyway, once again, I got this at Target. I didn't tell you the price. I ended up getting it for $8.89 or something. No, it was how much was it? I think it was $13.98 or something like that. So normally figures are like $25 or whatever, but I was like, I'll pay $13. Like I keep on telling toy makers, the problem with all the retro figures they make, especially with the Snake retro figure I got last week, they're too costly. If you're gonna have simple, oh thank you. Once again, I need to pay attention to the chat. Yes, I can't. Evan Connolly. Oh, Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy was the Batman and the animation, and then Big Red agrees with me. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for once again chat or replay or whatever. I'm just a simple man. Once again, I was so I was a cook in the military. I wasn't anything special. I was like I said, I went to college and I was like that. But when it comes to reading things and stuff like that, that's my weak point, and I know that, and it's okay. So anyway, yeah, thank you for that. So Kevin Conroy was the voice of Batman. Yeah, he was a great guy. I don't know if I hope I didn't know. Obviously, I don't know much about him, but I know rest his soul and hopefully grace to his family. So once again, that's the kind of figure. I'm really happy to get it. I'll probably open up that. So once again, here's the big reveal. Bum, 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 bum. We're getting into this show's long. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry for the replay, folks. Like my great friend Cuj is like, hey, try to keep your streams to about 30 minutes or so, and I agree with him because people don't have time to sit through long streams. But once again, I'm sorry, guys. I had a lot of soapbox stuff to say, so. And I'm also going to do a stream of all this kind of stuff that folks have given to me and I traded for over the years and stuff too as well. So I did not open this at all, nor did I pre-open it because I wanted more content for the show. But obviously, I didn't realize I had too much to say today. It's been a rough week. If you guys know, it was a rough June for me. If you guys know me personally, you know why. Just kind of like I said, just military stuff, just the past. Which it's hard. It's hard to get over the past. I know I preach about it. That's why I do preach about it a lot of times because I think with life and things, you got to keep telling yourself the positive things. I know that sounds hippy dippy, but you got to keep motivating yourself to keep going. Even when it gets dark and gets hard, you got to motivate yourself to keep going, and that's what folks do. And then, like I said, I tell people the people I served with, they were extraordinary, wonderful people. But what made them heroes to me is they were ordinary. They were ordinary to me. They I didn't know them like well, but the time I did know them, they took me in, were teaching me things and try to get me a part of the team and stuff like that. And that kind of brotherhood and things of that nature, well, those things stay with you. Those things stay with you forever. And in the civilian world, like I apologize to all my civilian friends. Don't take this the wrong way. And if you are a friend of mine who's a civilian, you would understand. But I can never have the kind of friendship with like civilian folks that I could ever have with folks that I served with, obviously, and then other folks that have served as well, because we just have. It's just like anything else. Like if you were on a team or something, you have that shared experience with them. And I'm not saying like we're a special group of people, and I'm not saying we need special rights or anything like that. I'm just trying to ask you guys and folks out there, just have grace for folks, veterans and even other folks who are having hard times. Have grace for folks. Show that civility to people because, like I said, you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what people are struggling through. If you ever walk by someone, bring a light to them. Say hi to them. Do something. Like obviously, not everybody needs it or wants it or whatever, and I get that. But like it doesn't hurt to try. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Anyway, let's get to the box. I've been on my soapbox. I say be independent and good to people. You don't have to follow the crowd of being mean to folks. That's to me that kind of hatred and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't lead anywhere. Like I said, you're talking to a person who's been combat. Well, I mean, like I said, I'm not. No, no. I mean, okay, I wasn't shot at directly, but I've been rocketed and stuff happened and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I don't want to take any glory from nobody. I'm not going to do that. So, sorry. I don't want to misspeak my words. I don't want to be a governor running for vice president, and then people go, oh, well, he effed up his words. But at least I correct it right afterwards. At least I'm smart enough to correct it right afterwards. Gosh, Lee. Once again, I was a cook in a special force unit. I jumped out of airplanes. That's what I did. I served those guys. I gave them 3 squares a day. I did my best to cook for them. Once again, if you want to know more personally, this is hard to open. Thanks, Gary, for making this so hard to open. That means he took care and packaged it. Once again, no one guessed. What do you guys think it is? We're toward the end of the show. No one guessed. Look, think about all the pictures I've been showing the last couple of days. Before I reveal it. Once again, if you know me, I've been asking for years. For some of my folks and my buddies to go to Joe Fest and do this for me. Oh God, because this particular person does not come. No, it's not a Haslam. No, I wouldn't even ask. No. Big red head, 82. No, I wouldn't ask. I would never ask someone to acquire this for me. And once again, I did throw him coin on this. He's a great friend of mine. Once again, he's done great things for me. I'm not saying I had to throw money on it. I wouldn't let him get this, pay money for this for me. But he's, like I said, great guy. Check out his podcast. It is the Chaplain Assistance Motor Pool Podcast and Trailers too, and they do a weekly kind of rundown on different equipment and stuff like that. So anyway, one more guess before I have to open it up. I haven't seen it yet. You're gonna see it with me. Oh my gosh! Here we go. Ooh. Oh, nice. So he got me a shirt. He asked me what size I was. And so this is the first thing he got at Joe Fest with me. Once again, if you guys got Joe Fest stuff you guys want to share out, I don't want to keep on repeating myself, but this is like hook me up. But he got me a shirt that says I have, and I want, and it is the obviously the USS flag. Because we know if there's collectors out there who have the flag, and God bless them, but where would you put it? Anyway, so but once again, it's not the size of the GI Joe you got; it's what you do with it. So nice shirt. Oh, thank you very much. It is a great shirt. I really appreciate that. This is from Gary. Once again, this is an extra. I kicked him down, so a little bit of extra money for the shipping because once again, shipping is outrageous now. So, but he did get me extra stuff, and he's a great guy. Once again, oh my god. Oh! He got me another shirt. And like I said, I don't have a lot of GI Joe shirts. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Oh, it's awesome. So Gary, I think he might have a spring store himself, but he got me one of their podcast pass. Can't talk no more. A podcast shirt that says Ferret ATV, and then like I said, I'm getting old. It says get into mischief on and off road, and then it says the Chaplain Assistance Motor Pool Podcast. So I can never forget the name. So if I wear this shirt, I can just look down and read it. That's why they have name tags in the Army, because that way you can look down and go, "Oh, look, my name is this name," and then and the U.S. Army means yes, my retarded ass signed up again. So, but yeah, that's awesome. I'm gonna cherish that. He should have signed it. I should have had him sign it for me. Maybe I'll send it back and say, "Hey, sign this for me." It's awesome. That's awesome. All right, what else did he get me here? Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. Wow. So I asked him to give me I asked him to give me a Sergeant Slaughter a signature, and he actually got it with a deluxe figure and with a mini Sarge. Oh wow, that's so I had him get me that. And I just didn't know what he was getting me to give me. And that's what he got me. Oh wow, that's Sergeant Slaughter. I've been wanting, like I said, I've been trying to hit. I've been dropping hits with Sergeant Slaughter this whole time. But that to me, it's wow. I also have I'll show it sometime. But I have a tugboat signature with a tugboat hat. But wow, that's yeah. I'll let you guys. Yeah, there you go. Wow, wow. I'm that's awesome. Yeah, wow. Wow. Thanks, Gary. Oh, wow. Thanks, Gary. Once again, that Gary from Chaplain Assistance Motor Pool, him and his co-host. I look saying like a robot. Him and Casey. Oh my gosh. You guys don't understand how happy I am. I've been waiting so long to get something signed by. I even like tweet at him. It's like, hey, do you have like a shop where you sign stuff or just have general stuff signed? I would just like just to get something signed. Once again, if I ever go to Joe Fest, which I'll have to convince my wife to go. I'll have to go alone because she doesn't like traveling. But oh my god, that's wow. And if you want a full rundown of he actually when he oh wow, I'm sorry, just like I gotta be careful with it forever. Anyway, so sorry. Uh I gotta compose myself. Military bearing here. But guys, if you guys don't know, I'm bringing myself to tears on this. Wow. That's wow. Anyhow, I don't know. I'm lost for words. I'm sorry. We're hitting almost an hour. I'm lost for words. Remember, I talk all day for a living. I assess people for disabilities, and so I have to ask questions constantly. And always have to make fun stories and stuff. And so, oh wow, whew. I'm tired. This is a wow. I'm just so happy. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, it's getting a little emotional. Oh, there's a couple more things. Yeah. Oh, I gotta pick up these later so my wife doesn't. And there's one more surprise. Oh my god, where's my? Oh, it's kind of funny. I'll drop his name too. Byron of Joe Motion 82 is a great friend. I've been friends with him for years too. I met him on through Cobra 788 through his channel Sim. He's a great guy. He actually I had him do a request video for me for Crazy Legs, and I wrote his script and gave him all the information about parachute riggers. Once again, I wasn't a parachute rigger. I was a cook and special forces, but we were great friends with the parachute riggers, and we would always hang out with them, get drunk with them, and they were great guys. I respected them. Parachute riggers are the guys who pack and stuff parachutes, even our individual ones that we jump out of with static lines, or they send equipment supplies. They'll even send like jeeps, everything, water, everything out the tail end of a plane. I got lucky once because I'm a cook. When cooks can trade our services for things, and I cooked this big old barbecue with on a Bagram airfield for them before I went out to the camp that I went to. And yeah, and so they traded me doing that for them because I cooked all day. It was all day. They gave me enough whiskey that I was all right because we were on the flight line. So you're not supposed to have whiskey or anything like that in country because it's a Muslim country, blah blah blah, and you're in a war zone, blah 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 blah. But we were on the flight line, so to get on the flight line, you had to pass, and we're on the flight line, and we were a special forces flight line, so you have to pass all these secure things to get to us. So by the time you get to us, everything would be cleaned up. Anyway, so I was cooking all day, and we just had this, and they just kept on feeding me whiskey. I was just drunk as just don't get out. But anyway, for me, not just the whiskey, they let me go out the back of a bird and watch some equipment being thrown out of it. And it was awesome. And then they did some water, and so I figured out how. I used to order the supplies and send them out to the fire bases before I went out to one. And and so like when they because it was wintertime, so it was hard for them to get water through the passes. So they send these water out there and it just hits the ground because they try to pack it as good as they can, but it just goes boosh, and all this you just see this white mist of water. You don't even see the plastic of it. I was like, so once again, is it got to be something you got to be there for? I don't know. It's crazy. I've lived a crazy life. Like I have a blessed God blessed life, and I thank every gosh darn day from alive. But I try to not. I don't try to live for the folks that passed on, and gave the ultimate sacrifice, but I live because of them. Like I have to live my life. I have to be able to move on. At some point, I'll have grandchildren. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but let's see what the last thing is. This last surprise before I back up. Sorry to get all emotional, but understand that's what kind of what Dagon is. You get what you pay for, and it's not a very high price with me. So like I said, don't ever send me stuff. Like I said, I'm being very careful with this. Let's say Gary's a great guy. I've known him for years. Oh my gosh, this. Oh wow. That's nice. He got me a signed copy of G.I. Joe number 48. Wow. That's cool. That's awesome. See, it's all signed. Wow. I'm sorry, guys. That's. I'm lost for words. Like I said, this was my 4th of July. A special extravaganza for my safety brief. But that's awesome. And like I said, that's the beauty of the community. And like I said, once again, don't send me nothing. Yeah, don't or nothing or just or anything like that. I'm not asking for nothing. I know I'm blessed and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to try and boast about the things I have. Everyone has great things. We all have all great lives. And if you need help, like I always, I'll kind of wrap up the stream like I used to do. So if you need help out there, reach out. We're all important. We all got tough lives. You're always important to somebody. There's somebody who has some say in wanting you to continue driving on and drinking water. So you're all important, and it takes a strong person to go get help. It really does. I know they say they try to pull this down real quick. Oh, wow. Sorry. They say they try to drill that into you, but it's true. It takes a strong person to say, if you're a soldier or you're part of a team, if you're hurt, you're hurt. If your leg was broken, you obviously would tell your folks if your leg was broken. But if your head's broken too, that's a serious thing. Like I always said, if your brain pan is leaking, you got to get it fixed too. It's okay. And it takes that strong person to do it. And you got to put when you start doing it, you got to put the work in. You gotta want to do it. They'll give you all this homework and stuff, and you'll do that homework, and you'll just, and like I said, as much as you put into it is as much as you're gonna get out of it. You're gonna think it sucks. You're gonna go to groups, and you're gonna feel uncomfortable talking, but at that point, you keep on going, at some point you're going to say something, because at some point you got to let stuff go. You got to open up. And that sounds silly, because like you say, oh well, you're not strong because you're complaining about stuff. But you got to open up. You got to tell people how you're feeling, how you're doing, because we're all a team. And if I don't know if you're hurting, I don't know. If you're hurting, I don't know if I need to help you out. I don't need, like, hey, your legs hurting or something like that. All right, let me take some weight off you. If your mind's troubling you, hey, let me take some weight off you. I'm not just talking like you have to do it all the time. I'm just saying you have to do it. You have to be a light for people and do it when people need it. You can see, what I'm saying? You can see when people are hurting. So just try to help people out there. That's all. Like I said, stay safe. If you can't, keep careful. Come back. You're important to us. I really appreciate it. Not just because Gary gave me stuff. He's a good friend. He's listened to some of my issues. I've listened, not his issues, but some other folks that got issues. You can always reach out to me. I'm not going to be able to fix you. I can barely. I'm still working on myself, and that's what you do. But I'm gonna give you some resources. I'm gonna have you reach out, especially if you reach out to me. I'll take you serious. I'll listen. I always have an ear. You all have ears, and we can listen. We got 2 ears for a reason and one mouth. So anyway, as always, happy 4th of July to those who celebrate. I'm sorry to my Brit friends, but we had to do it. Tea costs too goddamn much. You know what you should have done, honestly, because I was a history major and I've studied this. If you guys would have just gave us representation, our population was so low, you could have done anything you wanted anyway. So you could have taxed the bejesus out of us anyway. We had the representation, because think of America would have been the population of like Alaska now, where you're like, okay, what, they get a couple votes in their lower house, maybe they're not going to get any lords, maybe. Well, maybe like the Washington family or the Jefferson family, maybe famous families like that, but you're not going to get no overriding vote. Heck, I don't even understand how they didn't give an overriding. Well, no, because they captured all that. I guess they became their own countries. And that's why how come Canada could survive for so long, because they're like, F it, we'll just pay extra tax and not go to war. I'm not saying there's nothing that, I think war should be avoided at all costs. I think we need to be smart about it. I think that yes, there are situations where yes, someone has it coming or we got to do something, but it should be avoided. It should be thought about. I'm just, I'm tired. I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of seeing it on TV. I'm tired of hearing people killing each other for books. Like I believe in my faith, but I wouldn't kill you for yours. I would talk to you about it, but I wouldn't kill you for yours. So anyhow, just be a good person out there. Stay safe if you can. Keep careful, and all right, have a good 4th out there. Be safe out there. Think about it. If Sergeant Slaughter wouldn't do it, you shouldn't do it too. All right. All right. Have a good one. We'll see you later. All right. We'll see you next time. All right. Out. Whew.